Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Casket Talk with your wonderful hosts, Paraka the Goblin and
Ghost, your co-host.
And this is literally going to be, and I'm sure some of you are going to notice, this is literally the first Casket Talk we've done in the new area of the mausoleum with a new recording studio with all the new fancy crap that we glued and super glued and foam crap just all over the place, making us feel legitimate? Question mark?
For the first time in the longest time.
And the first time in the longest time. We've kind of been stuck on a your turn loop for a long time, but we're breaking the cycle, guys. We're breaking the cycle. Get pumped. Ugh. So we've got more evergreen content coming back. So, I'm kind of excited. So, how about you?
Yes. Episode 52. Here comes the boom.
Or shooters. We should have got to prep that. But yes, boomer shooters. We're coming at you with the boomer shooters. That joke's gonna get old really quick, but we're gonna abuse the crap out of it. You can't fight us. We have terrible use of algorithms. We don't know what we're doing. So yes, boomer shooters. So for some of you, people are like, "What the hell is that?" So, in a nutshell, basically, your arcadey style games generally had a fast-paced movement. Everything was go and shoot. That's basically main game mechanics.
No reloading.
No reloading is in a lot of them. There is a couple that may still use reloading, but a lot of it's used with movement and weaponry and just going from point A to point B and blowing as much shit as you can.
And secrets.
Yep. Secrets, health packs, all sorts of like weird arcadey, classic, retro stuff that like old people like us enjoyed. Like that's all we want. Like there's a core mechanic to really enjoy there where you just don't get it in your traditional shooters now.
There's no need for a plot. Yeah, no. The plot could be sidelined.
The plot doesn't even sometimes make sense. It doesn't. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But boomer shooters, there's actually been a rise of popularity with indies and stuff too. So we're gonna go ahead and crack all that open and stuff. But let's go ahead and kind of start with the nitty gritty. Start back in our own roots. What were some of your favorite old boomer shooters in yours, and why did you like them?
Obviously, just Doom.
Doom. That's it. We just won. All right, and thanks for listening.
But it's really cool just because I think everybody had it on their machines of any kind.
I think at some point I know no one who had at least a copy of Doom on something when it was current. Like it was on PC, but there was a little later it was on 64. It was on PlayStation. It was on everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't know one person who didn't have at least Doom somewhere.
Yeah.
They may not play it much, but they still had it, and that was kind of the key point to have.
I remember as a kid, it was really creepy. I love how scary or just very how uncanny or liminal the area is, I guess. And then something's gonna kill you, just pops around the corner, so you have to kill it, and it's very empty again, and it's not very human. I don't know. I love that atmosphere for it.
I think it was one of those games that gave a really deep kind of perspective of hell. Mm-hmm. Not like a philosophical type of deepness, but more this is kind of what hell would be. Mm-hmm. For a lot of people, they just imagine, I guess, fire and fire bad and all that. They don't go too much into it because it's a very scary concept, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right. Even if people who don't believe it, they if it's real, it's a scary concept for them to really want to kind of put their mind onto. Mm-hmm. And I think with a game like Doom being so early on, I think them just going, let's approach this. Let's tackle that theme. And they produced something that was very alien, very obscure. And when I'm saying alien, I mean like out of the realm of comprehension at the time.
Most of these rooms don't make any sense.
None of this
things
makes
are
sense.
Just to kill you, or you have to kill them.
Why would this happen? Why would that? A lot of it was just wow. There's just a lot of hate. There's a lot of red. There's a lot of fire. There's a lot of just evil going on. It's just crazy that this is all going on. And I think for that, a lot of people just took Doom in that way. It was a scary game, but nowadays it's just a genuine action game, just an intense game. but like because we know what scary is. Scary's more atmosphere and stuff now, you know.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting because I remember seeing how like things things that used to scare us kind of move in the bar gets raised, I guess, because you see stuff like Now the Living Dead was like extremely terrifying, and we watch it and it's kind of like cheesy.
Yeah,
and then
or what was it, Lord of the Flies? I remember when I was going to school and we had to watch Lord of the Flies for kind of like a movie understanding and stuff, and we all had to get a sign on, and there was like 3 people who were like, we can't watch this, we're not allowed to watch it because it's horrible. And like when I watched it, I was like, dude, literally 3 days I watched the movie Heavy Metal. What? Why is this even? You know, like it's just.
Well, because I remember what else? Resident Evil. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that used to be really creepy for me too.
Well, I think it was also one of those things that you're still kind of absorbing of what's getting put out to you.
Yeah.
Because I think if somebody made a game like Resident Evil in a very clunky way that Resident Evil is, and there's a couple out there. There's a game called Alyssa. Mm-hmm. That's an indie game that's being developed that has a very similar like approach to like the classic Resident Evil. Mm-hmm. I think you absorbing all the newness, the new experiences and stuff can still make a very pixely, very chunky graphic looking thing have an atmosphere that's just unsettling.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think when you replay it again, when you replay things a second time, you're like, why was I so spooked out by? Because you're absorbing it. Like your brain is absorbing it. But then now that you're playing it again, your brain already absorbed it and already knows what's going on in the next part of the game. So you're not processing it as much. So I think it does happen with that now.
Because I remember going back and playing the DS one. I was like, oh, I laughed so hard.
Chris Redfield. Jill Valentine. Barry Burton. Rebecca Chambers. Albert Wesker. Resident Evil.
Because it was so cheesy. I'm like, I was scared. Like, this was scary back when I was a kid. But I think it was also like because it's new, you kind of put yourself in the situation that like, oh, what if I was this clunky in this scenario?
Right. Instead of just enjoying that.
Yeah.
And that's another part of it too. I think I don't really like horror games in like the atmospheric sense unless they're telling a story through the atmosphere itself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like you figuring stuff out on your own is a lot more cooler than the horror hallways. Basically, they're horror hallways. That's a perfect thing.
They hold you down. They hold you down and shout the story at your face.
Yeah. I need to tell you how spooky and scary I am. I hate that shit. Like, it's just horrible, man. I don't like that. But before we derail completely, boomer shooters. Yeah, we'll have the horror talk some other time.
Shortly after.
Yeah, shortly after. We're gonna probably have another episode. And I'm just saying. No. Boomer shooters though. I do think because what Doom was doing a theme that was never really done outside Diablo, maybe.
Yeah.
Made it very more uncomfortable for people, but now it's just a solid, just hell yeah. It's like the bar of expectation. Just play like Doom, and you're good.
Yeah.
Like that's all you could be the shittiest looking game, but if you play and it runs smooth and you play like Doom, you're good.
Yeah.
You'll make money. Like that is, dude. I will pay money for that.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's crappy looking, if it actually plays like Doom, most people will just buy it. Like straight up.
Yeah, and then for me, like I went back to Doom 64 on the Switch because they finally released it after 15 years, 18 years.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, I went back and had a chance to actually play it on.
Imagine with the game. Imagine a game called Doom 64 not getting any kind of port for so long, and it gets ported onto another Nintendo console.
And they fixed the gamma. Woo! Yeah.
Woo! Yay! Whoa! Yeah.
It's not just black. But yeah, it's actually really good, especially on controller. Because you had that weird whatchamacallit, like
WSAD movement, but
yeah, it's not, you don't strafe. It's weird. It's that weird Halo. Or is it the original Halo? I don't know. It's that weird one where
we're just blaming other shooters right now. That's just all we're doing now.
Yeah,
sounding cool and edgy.
No strafing. You just push left and right to turn, and then forward and backwards.
Oh yeah, that's bad.
And a space bar to shoot. So, getting a chance to play them all on controller now, I'm like, oh, this is so nice. So
well, you got to think like Doom 64 was kind of built for a controller, though.
Yeah,
you know. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say stuff about my kind of boomer thing and stuff too. Like I remember mine's also a 64 game, basically, right? Pardon me. Like I had that, but I had a lot of other games that were very similar in that fashion. Because back then, that was like the only way you made a shooting game, was kind of like a boomer shooter, because we didn't have all the other articulations and stuff like that. That was starting to be experimented with and stuff like realistic, fire distance, realistic impact, reloading animations and stuff like that. Stuff that was supposed to make games feel more realistic and in depth. Everybody was just like throwing guns and hands and stuff like that to just about everything. I've played almost all of them on the 64. I played Turok. I played all the Turoks. The Turoks are awesome. But one of my favorite ones are actually going to be Hexen. For some reason, like, me and my brothers would always get together and always play a good several hours of Hexen. For some reason, there was something about the mystique of it being medieval. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like medieval Doom, basically, back at the time. Like, that's the only way people kind of described it, because they're like, what was that game? It was kind of like Doom, but it was, like, in medieval times. And, like, people are like, Hexen? And they're like, yeah. Like, that's basically how every conversation happened for the next 10 years. Until it finally started coming back out for other systems, and then people are like, oh yeah, we now all know the name now. But like, that's basically how me and my brothers would play. We would play that, and then would hate ourselves enough, and then we'd play Forsaken 64. Now, I think Forsaken 64 was kind of not just a boomer shooter, it was kind of like a weird blend of racer and boomer shooter. Mm-hmm. It was like the wildest type of experience, and it was like a fully like every directional flight, so you can just go anywhere, but because of that you can end up upside down sometimes, going down the tubes and stuff. Like, it was extremely disorienting.
Was it like a Quake?
It was a lot like a Quake. It really was. And like, it was actually how we discovered that my middle brother has a severe system with motion sickness. So promptly after that, we stopped playing Forsaken 64. But it was really wild movement. It was just constant. Like, it was just one of those ones that like we would play probably for like 3 rounds, and he goes, we need to play something else. Then would go back to play Hexen. And even Hexen now, for me, still stands out because of those moments, that nostalgia and stuff. And for some reason, it still has that like medieval experience, that kind of like weird classic intensity that even Doom has. Mm-hmm. And it still kind of sticks. It's still satisfying, so just get my hands on it and like play it. When is it coming back out? Like, give it to me on Switch.
Is it on Steam or anything?
I think it's on Steam.
Okay.
I would probably have to buy it again on Steam.
Okay.
But I've bought it on another system. I don't even know if it's on the PlayStation 4. It might be. Okay. Who knows? But
I gotta grab it, because everybody says that's what Kingsfield is inspired from. So I gotta pick it up.
I could see the inspiration from it, but Kingsfield is very much more a slower paced game. Hexen is not.
Oh, okay.
So don't go, I moved too fast. Never mind. I can see the inspirations. Anyway,
because I remember them saying something like that, or at least like I think Miyazaki said he got Kingsfield from playing Hexen. Something like that. Yeah.
And that's one thing I'm always. And an aside, it's stuff like that, inspiration like that mm-hmm. AI can never replicate.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's a lot of people who are worried. There's stuff like that, inspirations, ideas that are like that simply cannot be made.
Yeah.
By AI alone.
They would just say, "Give me something like Hexen," and then it'll be like
It will just be hexen,
a
but
high
blue.
def,
You know,
high def
like yeah,
hexen, yeah, but
Yeah,
you
it's
won't
just-
get Kingsfield.
yeah. So something like that, right? But no, current times, like the new age of gaming, like especially a lot of indies, they're making boomer shooters.
Yeah,
There's people like our age that's like, man, I miss the days when guns were fun. You know, like a lot of the shooting games now, a lot of first-person shooters are just they're all the same.
yeah.
You know, you might get a different one periodically, but there are so many people like it's not Call of Duty, and then they
tell
all
you.
go back to Call of Duty again.
It's always like the first weapon you get sucks. You always have a pistol.
The
next-
shotgun has no real range.
yeah, until you're point blank, and then there's always that one really good gun that you're gonna have to get. Yeah, and then you hide on the ground to regenerate your health, stuff like that.
Yep. Stuff like that. And all of that was just, it's just like, there's a lot of indies that are like, man, I just miss the old days of just going nuts with some stuff. So, new companies are making new boomer shooters and all that. Have you had a lot of those? Are you like any of those that you've played recently that you're like, yeah, you need to try these guys out?
Cultic. Oh my god. Oh, I love that game. It was very, like I said, like nowadays games aren't really all that enticing, but Cultic is one of the ones that like I picked up and I couldn't wait to get home to play it. It was nice. Like
You know, it's funny. Like a lot of games, I think that a lot of games are like pushing forward with all this graphics. Like, oh, I look so much better. Buy me, buy
Yeah.
me. Look at me. I'm covered in glitter now. Buy me, buy me. And then there's like, so this game kind of plays like that, and like that's what I really liked. So I was like, I want to make more of that. And you're like, yeah, I want. That's exactly what I fucking
Yeah.
want. Give me that. Like, there's a game, and I've said this multiple times. There's a game out there that's being developed right now. There's a small little team doing it. It's a game that's kind of like Pokemon meets Pokemon Snap meets like a Digimon type of fighting type of system, and it's all based off yokai and ghosts. Basically, that's all it is, right? And you take pictures to kind of capture them and stuff. That game has me more pumped to try that game out. Like, they announced a demo probably 2 weeks before our recording of this. They announced a demo, and I was more pumped by that than 80% of the stuff that was announced in a Nintendo Direct.
oh, okay.
You know, like, I don't know why. Like, stuff like that, I'm like, give me some of that. Scoop that up in a bowl, and I'm just going to just eat that shit.
Well, I mean, like indies could get shit out faster, and then they could hit that certain specific target too. Because when you're AAA, you gotta make sure that everybody's happy with.
You got to get the broadest market you humanly possibly can, and as fast as you can before people start turning your game in and people are buying used.
Well, here's another thing too. I noticed. I can't remember who brought it up though, but somebody said like modern games are made to what is it? Tickle that like lizard brain to make you satisfied. It doesn't make you want to play. It tickles that fancy to where you're like,
it validates your expectations of what a game should be,
And then once
once it does that, you don't play it.
you don't play it. So it's like that's why you log in and then you're like, oh, I feel satisfied, and then you fuck off and you play something else.
Yeah.
So like every game, that's why you buy. That's why you have such a huge backlog, because modern games, they fulfill, like they check that box off for you for the day, and then you go play something else.
Disclaimer: I don't have this big ass backlog because I just have a small green lizard brain, regardless of my skin color. It's because I have been doing this recording thing as a second job. So
Big goblin
Yeah.
brain, right?
I'm doing 4D chess right now. So there you go.
So I think that's also why like we play games for like an hour and then we switch to another one and play another game and we switch to another one,
Well,
because
I think there's that part, but there's also a wide variety of flavors that you've had your bowl. Mm-hmm. So the next time you want another bowl of ice cream, you kind of want a different flavor.
Yeah.
Because if you had a freezer that was full of like 18 different flavors, you'd go like, you're like, oh, that strawberry cordial was pretty good. And then the next day, like, oh, man, I could go for some more ice cream. You're more likely to try another flavor.
yeah,
Just because it's readily available.
yeah,
Whereas, like, you will buy your favorite flavor, like, say you love Rocky Road, and take it home, and you will eat that till it's gone because you have no other options.
yeah.
Whereas like games, because games are going so widely available, so widely accessible, so widely everything, that a lot of people like will want to change it up. Sometimes they're not feeling a racing game. Whereas back when they're poorer, they're like, shit, I got Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied with Gran Turismo, and they'll drive that thing to the ground.
Yeah.
You know, and that's fine. But I think that's just another aspect as to why we just see stuff out.
Buy less games. Right.
Buy more.
But
physical.
But it also reminds me about like back in high school when my teacher got really pissed off at kids who would constantly switch their CDs, and he was like, stick to a freaking CD. I'm sick and tired of seeing you guys not working because you're swapping CDs constantly.
My God, I remember swapping CDs in my car so many times. Like when I was a teenager, I'm like, gotta swap them out because I'm tired of hearing Mad at Gravity. Pew 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 pew. You know, but now like, yeah, and I think you are probably on like kind of on the right path with that. Like, I think a lot of people will buy brand new AAA games because it validates that, oh, this was always what I wanted. I wanted the sequel to this. I always loved this, therefore I will always buy this to show that I love this game. I love Call of Duty. I need to buy every new Call of Duty to show you that I love Call of Duty, to validate to myself that I still love Call of Duty. That's how a lot of people are acting right now. And then there's people out there that will just buy a game because they justify some political angle. Like, oh my God, that one person is XYZ. I'm kind of like that, and it validates me. They will never really buy the game. They'll promote it a bit. Like, you need to buy this game for me, and they will never really play it. They don't care beyond that. That's just all it is.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, that's just it.
The Hellhounds. They're not happy.
The Hellhounds are awakened. So...
But yeah, cultic. Anyways.
Yeah, cultic. Back to the boomer shooters and stuff.
But it's just this creepy. It's back to the weird, creepy stuff too. Again, the atmosphere is really cool. And it's just, I don't know. It scratched that itch though, where I was like, wow, I wish there was more games like this, because it had like the boomer
shooters.
Boomer shooter. Doom aspect of, like, it had it all, and it reloaded. Yeah.
Ew.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. I don't know, like, reloading, I think a lot, like, it has to be done right for a boomer shooter, because a lot of it's tied to a lot of movement. You don't want to be fiddling around with that animation and then something comes up and goes like, penis check, and smack you in the face. Like, nobody wants to do that.
Yeah.
You know? Like, people just want to be like, kabam, like right around the corner. Like, they don't want to be like, oh no. You know? And like drop all their bullets on the ground. Oh no. You know, like, it's just not gonna happen. It's just we're not the hero's journey degenerate game type of thing. We're not doing that. But like, I like those. Like, so for example, my newest ones that I've played recently, and this is gonna sound stupid, right? Immortal Redneck. Yeehaw. Like, if you can't get any more patriotic than that, you just call it the Immortal American. Like, basically, like, it's very, like, it's so ridiculous, right? And it takes it like, the way I've seen somebody describe it as Immortal Redneck was more Duke Nukem. Oh well, it was Duke Nukem with more Duke. And really, that makes sense. Like, the cheesy lines, like, the dude, like, just hams up the cheesy lines, but he doesn't have, like, the whole, like, badassery of him. He sounds like this beer-bellied redneck yeehaw guy. Like, you know, like, he's not sound sexy. Or he doesn't sound like he thinks he's sexy. He's just like, yeehaw, get off my property, bang, bang, bang. Like, that's basically it, right? But I thought that was hilarious. Like, I thought that stuff was hilarious.
I think one part I got a really good kick out of was the whenever you die, you lose money, right? Yeah. So I lost money, and he was like, "Damn taxes, always taking my money." And I was like, okay, if I was younger, I would have been like, look at those stupid Republicans. But now I'm like, oh shit, he was right.
Yep.
I can agree with it.
Like, oh, this dude isn't appealing to our like edgelord teenagers anymore. It's appealing to us as adults, and you're like, oh, this is hitting home a lot worse now.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
like it's one of those things that you can tell the difference of like your perspective of the world shifts the moment you pay for your first energy bill.
yep.
That's basically it. Immediately, we just need to no, you. I'm done paying this crap.
You get a job for 3 years. You'll
Yep.
see. You'll see how much you hate the government.
Yep. As soon as you have to actually start paying things beyond rent, then you start going, oh crap. Yeah, that's gonna be something, huh? Suddenly, that whole like that juice guzzling LED lit up gamer PC isn't exactly all that smart anymore. Oh, dude, I just do all this. You get your own car, you get your thing, you turn it on, and you realize, oh, 5 minutes of that was $60. All right, let's go ahead and take these lights off. Let's be real. Like suddenly, you playing in the dark with just the screen being on sounds like a pretty dope idea. Anyway, yeah. So, any other like new age boomer shooters you want to talk about or anything like that?
Ultra Kill.
Ultra Kill.
I guess we're always coming back to this one, but I love Ultra Kill. That's a hell of a cool game, and I think it got a free DLC too. I have to look it up because I haven't touched it in a while after I beat it. But it's really cool just because it has that like I really like that PS1 64 style.
I don't know. Like I feel that too, but not for boomer shooters or anything like that.
Nope.
I feel that for like platformers. Like if there's a platformer that kind of has that vibe of the old 64 and stuff, I'm like, that's kind of up my alley actually.
Yeah, okay.
But like for boomer shooters, I don't know. It feels like more like the old like pixely 3D space type of thing is more what I like. Like
okay.
that right there, like give me that more. I don't know why. Just that right.
I like the weird like shapes that like you can just make what it is. Like, oh, it's a humanoid thing, kill it. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a floaty face, kill it, punch it. But I don't know. There's something about it that's like really satisfying. I guess maybe it's just our generation. But
Yeah.
Zoomers, comment down below what do you guys think about the PS1 style graphics.
They're like, oh, I can't see all the pores on the guy's face. Why would I even care about that? No reflection on the robot's metal? Meh.
It's so old. Right?
It's so gross. You should probably listen to my TikTok. Nah.
You can't even Fortnite dance in that game. What's the point of playing?
Like, where's all the skins and stuff? Why is it not multiplayer? Nah.
I hate you, Mom.
You don't understand me, Mom. It's not a phase. Nah. Dude, a perm is always a phase. I don't care who you put it on. Like, let's be real.
Why do the Zoomers sound like us in our 90s? Or the 90s teen kids, right?
They're smarter beyond our age. Oh.
I mean, to be fair, teens are too different.
$5 say somebody's gonna actually do that thing as a joke on Zoomers like here in a couple years, and I'm gonna be like, we invented that.
Well, the funny thing is that like kids are still all the same, regardless of like what generation we come through.
Yeah, yeah, and they all are, and it's really bad when you're an adult and you start noticing that. You know, like you warn them. Fucking Grandpa Simpson warned us. I used to be with it, but then it changed, and what it is now is strange and unusual to me.
No, man, we're gonna be cool forever. Forever.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what's gonna happen, dude. That is, and the fact that we're there, like, we are now more relatable to Grandpa Simpson than anyone else now is horrifying. Like, it really is. Holy crap, dude. Like, I've actually, like, this season, we're talking about boomer shooters, and we're acting like boomers right now. That's just great. The one thing I noticed, though, the, like, degradation of how slang goes, and it's, like, reverting back to its roots. So at one point in time, I think a lot of people said it tastes like if you tasted something horrible, they would describe it as it tastes like, you know, it tastes bad, it tastes awful, it tastes blah blah blah. And then other people, it's like the 80s and 90s were like, it tastes like ass. And then suddenly, like the 2000s to now, it was like, it tastes like shit, right? And now, so it's going straight backwards, and I've overheard people using the phrase, "Dude, that's straight up booty cheeks." And I was like, "Is the next generation is gonna say it's bum rumpus? Like, is this how it's gonna go?" I'm gonna hear my grandkids. And it's like, "Oh, that was straight up bum rumpus, Grandpa." I'm going, ha! And I die. Like, that's exactly what's gonna happen. But like, oh my god, like I don't know, like I think that's why we like a lot of like these classic games, because it's just straight up. None of this flashy nonsense and stuff that just tickles our weird lizard brains, as you said. Like, it's like, go play it, dude. You need to play it to have fun. And you can't just go, oh, I just turned around and killed a thing. No, you're like, oh, I gotta get more of that dopamine. I gotta kill more things. You gotta go in there and you gotta play and you gotta get the notes and everything.
To be fair, it's not nostalgic goggles, because my younger brother, I think he's Generation Alpha, and he loves Game Boy Advance. So, ha!
Yeah.
Take that, Zoomers.
Yeah, eat it.
Anyway, our games are good.
Our games will be timeless. Well, the other ones are like a giant power pissing contest to see who gets to look better over time, and it's gonna just look at ass. It's gonna be bad. But let's take a look at the future, since we're talking about the future of kids and stuff.
Future.
Is there stuff out there that you would like to see in boomer shooters? Or is there anything that's actually coming out that you're looking forward to that might actually fit that niche?
Atmosphere. I love more atmosphere games. Like,
we talking spooky?
Yeah.
Okay, more spooky. More spooky atmosphere. I could dig that.
I'm not like just trying to look for what Doom gave me, because Coltic was able to actually satiate that too. It was just kind of like, it's when it's slow, it gets really creepy. There's a lot of like really.
Dusk kind of has that too.
Dusk. Yeah. That's what it's. I got to get that too. That's on my list. But there's something, I don't know what it is, because that like PS4 64 aesthetic is really good with horror. And I don't know why. I
think it's because it kind of hits that perfect niche in the uncanny valley. Like, you know what it's supposed to be, but because it's limited on what it needs to show you,
your brain kind of fills in the gaps.
Yeah, your brain still fills in the gaps, even though you're like actively aware. Dude, that dude's like, that's a hat. And you're like, yeah, but what if it's other things? Like, oh, stop it. Like, you know.
And then like the warping too. If you notice, like the old school PS1 games, like when you move around, things kind of warp.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes it also like really uncanny.
Yep. Yeah, where everything doesn't feel like it has like real life lag. Like, what the fuck? What's going on?
But atmosphere is nice, especially when like you have to like slow down and reload. Yeah, and then just think out your plan. But and then you get a chance to like really soak in what is it, like the scenario you're in, and just
the
like
situation you've gotten yourself into. And
yeah,
stuff, yeah.
So that's kind of why I like atmosphere is really, really important for me. So
yeah, no, and I'll agree with the atmosphere stuff, like, but not in the horror way. Like, I'm gonna be the completely opposite. I kind of like, I don't know why, but there's like a weird taste for me in like the weird 80s neon synth style, that if you can make that into a boomer shooter, I'm probably going to pay a premium on that. I don't know why. That aesthetic kind of looks dope to me.
Okay.
You know, that whole like leather jackets, everything's kind of rainy-dainy, and like all the neon lights are kind of painting all the buildings different colors because of the reflection of the actual wetness of it. So the colors just kind of do this weird bleeding into the city and stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's wild, right? It's actually kind of why I like the staging of Detective Archives Raincoat. It's not a boomer shooter, it's a very slow, but I love the atmosphere there. I'm like, I like this. I don't know why. This is awesome. I don't know. I love that atmosphere stuff. Like that, the whole neon synth music type of thing, and like have it like a low key, like down tempo synth music while I'm blowing the shit out of stuff. That we're getting. Okay. That's our shit right there. I would
think
like that.
There are a couple. I can't remember at the top of my head, but I think there are some that you might like.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Outside that, mostly, I think any other things that I would like out of a boomer shooter is more kind of like arcade events and modes, like Exotic did. Like
okay.
Like a scale ratio thing and such.
Oh, another one too is New Game Plus is nice. You get to carry your shit over.
I think the old stuff. I think old stuff just didn't do it because you had to kind of challenge and figure out your way out, and there was always hours of you just trial and error, basically, right? And from there, I think we just became more efficient in playing some of these games. And I think some people made New Game Plus like, what if we made it harder, but you get to have everything,
Yeah.
Like the idea of just coming in with your own RPG and then nuking the crap out of the very first boss sounds satisfying.
Yeah.
But if that boss can now toss fireballs at you, then suddenly the weirdness gets up. I would like to see in New Game Plus where everything just gets amped up to 11. Like it's like, no, you don't even get any other choices of what mode you get to play. It's hard mode now. Fuck you. And it's like hard mode plus because you have to, because you have all your skills. It doesn't matter.
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls. But yeah, that's kind of cool. So, anything else you want to add to the boomer shooters?
No, that should be. That's just about everything I'm looking for, I guess. More horror stuff, more atmosphere. Yeah.
Well, I do look forward to playing some more boomer shooters and stuff. Anyway, and just in general, like I've been kind of getting in that itch and stuff too. I just haven't had time to play them. I've been playing more of the RPGs and kind of slower paced games just to get some kind of gameplay in there somewhere somehow. But I've been liking a lot of what indies have been pushing out too. Looks good. So I would like to thank you all for listening to our next phase of Casket Talk. And as always, thank you guys all for listening. And if you like our content, feel free to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, we will see you on the other side. Hey everyone, this is Paraka.
And Ghost.
I would like to say thank you for listening to our podcast.
If you like our content, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe and share our video with your friends.
You can also follow and support us on other social media such as Minds and Rumble. Links in the description below.